Ever since One Piece entered the Egghead Island Arc, fans have witnessed incredible scientific technology. The display of the scientific advancements baffled the audience, as they did not envision that they would get an opportunity to see something so futuristic. So far, the arc has featured the best inventions of Vegapunk, which include holograms, futuristic weapons, cyborgs, etc. One could argue that they like one thing more than the other, but most One Piece fans agree that one invention stands head and shoulders above the rest. The invention is none other than the Seraphim, which have been called the strongest beings in the world. They were introduced in the Egghead Island Arc, but there are still a few things that seem unclear about these beings. How were they made? The project to create Seraphim was already in the works long before Oda revealed the final product. It was teased after the time skip that the Special Science Group was working on something big that would replace the need for Shichibukai altogether. The Shichibukai system was established to nullify the threat of the Yonko, but there were many problems associated with it. The main issue with the Shichibukai was that each of them was motivated by their own goals, and most of the time they paid no heed to what the world government wanted from them. Many people had doubts about whether the Seraphim could replace the Shichibukai, but the creations of Vegapunk have proved that they are much better than the pirates. For starters, the Seraphim do not have any goals of their own. Once they receive an order, they will carry it out until they finish the task, or they are instructed to stop. Creating such powerful beings was not an easy task by any means. It required years of hard work and resources. Vegapunk used the lineage factor of the former Shichibukai to create the Seraphim. He added the lineage factor of the Lunarians to make the Seraphim even stronger. Finally, he topped it off by giving them devil fruit powers. Do they have separate personalities? While the Seraphim are programmed to obey orders, it appears that they are not like the original Pacifista, who did not have any cognitive ability. On a few different occasions, the Seraphim have shown that they actually have emotions. The most notable of them was when Jinbei complimented S-Snake and the latter appeared to be blushing, which was quite unbelievable. Another instance was when S-Hawk crossed swords with Zoro. The Straw Hat admitted that the Seraphim was more human than Dracule Mihawk, implying that the weapon showed more emotions than the man Zoro wants to surpass. While the evidence may be inconclusive, it does appear that the Seraphim do have a certain degree of emotion. It is possible that their emotional intelligence might grow in the future, as they are still just kids at the moment. How powerful are the Seraphim? The Seraphim were created with the objective of making them the strongest form of humanity. So, Vegapunk and co. worked extremely hard to ensure that they would be immensely powerful. The lineage factor from the Shichibukai gives the Seraphim access to a particular fighting style and the ability to improve it further. The Lunarian lineage factor grants them additional physical strength and speed, giving them a huge advantage over their opponents. The sheer power of S-Hawk enabled him to slice off a huge chunk of the mountain on Amazon Lily without any problems. If the attack had made contact with a normal person, they would have most certainly died. The Seraphim also have a great deal of resilience, as two of them came out totally unharmed from the fierce battle that took place on Amazon Lily. To make things worse, each Seraphim seems to have a devil fruit that suits their fighting style. S-Snake has the Mero Mero no Mi, which is among the most overpowered devil fruits in the entire series. S-Shark possesses the Sway Sway no Mi, and S-Bear has the Nikyu Nikyu no Mi. Both of them are incredibly useful devil fruits. It is difficult to gauge where the Seraphim stand in terms of overall strength, but one of them was able to push Blackbeard on the defensive, which says a lot about their power. Will they be involved in the future arcs? Bearing in mind how the Seraphim were designed, it doesn't seem that Oda will destroy them in the Egghead Island arc. It is a well-known fact that Oda does not like to kill off characters unless it is absolutely necessary, and since the Seraphim are only kids, the chances are extremely low. Furthermore, the deaths of the Seraphim would serve no purpose. Instead, if they were to remain under Stella's control, they could play an important role in the future arcs. While some fans might think that their importance will dwindle after the current arc, it is highly unlikely that Oda will sideline them, as they are heralded as the strongest beings in the world. Given their power, the Seraphim could help the Straw Hats in the final war that will take place sooner rather than later in the series. One Piece. Why Spoiler is the traitor, explained. Vegapunk is one of the main characters in the Egghead Island arc of One Piece. He is a character full of intrigue that Oda built up carefully from before the timeskip. Finally, after 2 decades, Vegapunk made his appearance in the Egghead Island arc of the story. While the vast majority of fans believed Vegapunk to be a scientist with a pure heart who was being forced to work with the Navy, things appeared to be different once the arc began. It was revealed soon after in One Piece that Vegapunk was not hesitant to sacrifice things in the name of progress, and as the arc has progressed, it has become abundantly clear that he is, in some ways, a gray personality. All the strange happenings on Egghead Island that seem to be working against the Straw Hat Pirates are actually the doing of none other than Dr. Vegapunk, or one of his satellites, and here is why. What happened on Egghead Island? The Egghead Island arc began with the Straw Hat Pirates entering an unknown sea filled with mechanical monsters. Immediately after, it was made clear that the crew was in the presence of none other than Dr. Vegapunk. While Vegapunk appeared in the body of a woman at first, it was later made clear that he actually has 6 bodies that he has created as his satellites. These bodies were revealed to be Lilith, Edison, Pythagoras, Atlas, Shaka, and finally, York. The true body of Dr. Vegapunk himself was revealed to be Stella and was also introduced in the arc when Luffy met him. Vegapunk quickly decided that he would be getting on board the Straw Hat's ship and escape death safely. However, things started getting weird when the CP0 approached the island. Somehow, the Frontier Dome stopped working, which should have prevented CP0 from entering the island. Shortly afterwards, S-Snake attacked Pythagoras and, immediately after, attacked other members of the Straw Hat Pirates as well. Meanwhile, in the main lab, S-Bear and S-Hawk attacked the captured members of the CP0, and it was thanks to Zoro that they managed to survive. They then went on to attack both Zoro and Luffy, along with the members of the CP0. It was made clear by Shaka that if the Seraphims were not listening to his orders, it means that someone with equal authority had already given them the order to wipe out everyone. As fans know, only Dr. Vegapunk and the 5 elders have higher authority over these human monsters than the CP0. As such, Shaka comes to the conclusion that the order was given by none other than Dr. Vegapunk himself, meaning that one of his satellites is, in fact, the traitor on Egghead Island. Why Vegapunk is a traitor? The question of why Vegapunk would do this is one that has left fans scratching their heads. After all, he was about to be eradicated by the members of the Cypher Pole, and it was just his luck that the Straw Hat Pirates arrived on the island, giving him an escape route. So why exactly is Vegapunk working against the pirate crew right now? The answer to this question has not been given to the fans. However, it can be speculated that this has to do something with progression in the name of science as well. Vegapunk's personality has already been fleshed out a bit in the story, and it is quite clear to see that he is someone who has sacrificed a lot. Vegapunk is the smartest person in the entire world, and it wouldn't be a surprise if he has already planned 10 steps ahead of what the fans know at this point in time. If one of his satellites knows that his survival is not a guarantee with the Straw Hat crew, they will most likely work against them. If they think the crew can aid him, they will start aiding them as well. While Vegapunk was fully set on leaving with the crew at first, it appears that one of the satellites doesn't agree with this decision, causing them to betray not just the crew but Stella as well, along with the allies that he made just a short while before. The future of Dr. Vegapunk. Dr. Vegapunk is not an evil character through and through. He is certainly someone with a lot of nuance to him, and while one of his satellites definitely did turn their back on the crew here, it is also a fact that Vegapunk has good in him. He also has a blooming relationship with Dragon, and the two have been working together towards a long-term goal, as was clear from their previous conversations. As such, when all is said and done, Vegapunk is still an ally more than he is an enemy. It just so happens that his satellite has chosen to be a thorn in the path of the Straw Hat Pirates at this point in time. It is not known how the crew will deal with the threat that he is posing to them, but they will fight him one way or another. They also cannot let him die, meaning that Vegapunk will most likely be brought to safety when the crew successfully escapes from Egghead Island. At the end of the day, Vegapunk has knowledge of everything that Ohara hadn't discovered over the years, and he is a key character in Dragon's Revolution as well. Despite his personality being a traitor and working against the crew, Vegapunk will likely find himself being a permanent ally sooner rather than later. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos very soon.